Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fallout Bar after night 14 now of the PDC Premier League darts for 2025. Joined two of us this evening alongside me, Mr. Dan Simpson. It's good to see you back.
Nice to be along. Nice to be along. It's nice to still be awake. It's nice to be in. It's nice to be in my own home midweek as well. Yeah, it's
you have to knock these affairs on the head, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, mate. Honestly, it's terrible. Terrible. Yeah, it's nice though. It's good. I have long been a proponent of this format. Like, I really like the format. Yeah. We're still seeing good darts. Like, we're still seeing good darts. We're still seeing exciting matches. Obviously, we'll come to results a little bit later on. We'll have a look, or we'll talk about how much is left to play for in terms of the league table. But I thought it was a solid night.
It was a decent night of darts, and as ever, joined by Mr. Carwyn Evans. He's literally you'll be burning a different spot into people's TVs tonight because it's slightly different layout having three of us on. How are you, mate?
He's muted.
He's so excited that he's giving us no sound whatsoever.
He's lost his voice.
Hang on, let me see if I can take his sound out and put it on again and see if that works. Carwyn, are you there? No, we've lost contact with Wales.
I can see. It's like this is exactly what it's going to be like when the Eurovision Song Contest comes on next week, isn't it? Is it when we go around for the results?
Put him back in again. Let's try that.
Take him out and back in.
Are you there, Carwyn? Come in. This is Eurovision, isn't it? Come in.
Calling Wales.
I've turned into Graham Norton already.
No, it's definitely something on. It must be on your machine.
Maybe you need to leave altogether. The system can't handle the excitement of all three of us. I think is what's happened here.
Turn it off and on again and log back in. Meanwhile, we'll talk about Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds. My favourite topic. I always love to bring Yorkshire up on it.
Well, as much as I live perilously close to the official border. Like the River Tees is officially the border between Yorkshire and County Durham, and I'm on the right.
Rather be in that than in Yorkshire.
Yeah, I'm on the right side of that of the river. But what I will say is I've had the privilege quite a few times to be in that arena, both for Premier League darts and for other things.
It's a fantastic arena.
Oh, it's banging. It's absolutely, and it's that. Yeah, it's that amphitheatre style, and it's what's really cool. And I imagine for the players, it must be a nice one to play on in terms of the atmosphere, because so I sat there a couple of years ago, and again, very lucky. I was lucky enough to be right on the front, first table after the stage, but the feeling and the sense that you get from this huge amphitheater of people being really on top of you, because it's much closer in terms of distance than the rest of the Premier League venues, and the height that goes up to in that sort of semicircle arena. Yeah, it's absolutely lovely. And for some sports, of course, there's a lot, they're all sort of multi-use arenas. For some sports, it doesn't work at all. But for darts, I think it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it really does work. I've said this a lot on here before about the Three Arena in Dublin is very similar to that. It feels there's that same steep bank, and it makes you feel like you're in an old school sort of like Colosseum almost.
That's what it's like. It's that amphitheatre style, but it suits darts so well because it just gives you that intimacy. Darts it's a small scale in terms of what's actually happening. It's the arena. It's two lads of average size, maybe some of them above average size. Let's be honest. Throwing less than a couple of meters is the entire scenario, including the other referees and everything else. So to have it that much more intimate, but still be on that grand arena stage is lovely. And I think Leeds is a great night. I always say if you are in this part of the world, sort of north, if you like, and you can pick a Premier League night. I would have Leeds over Manchester and Sheffield in terms of the venue. Like everyone's looks are a bit different, but I think it's a better venue than Newcastle.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a better venue than the AO is in Manchester as well. Speaking of amphitheatres and gladiators, Carwyn's back. Hey, mate.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Here he is. Right, I'll ask you again. How are you, mate?
Dulcet tones.
Very good, thank you. I've managed to find my voice after celebrating Gerwen Price qualifying for finals night. But no, a great night of darts. As in, I heard a bit of you talk about the venue there. I totally agree. I think it lived up to the hype and the expectation. Obviously helps that they had a good weekend with the football. And also maybe off the back of last week's Premier League, it needed a night to lift spirits. And I feel like it certainly did that.
I tell you what, I did notice as well, the spot, we were seeing a little bit more of Foster's. There must have been some freebies given away today. Did you notice the amount of Foster's Hawaiian shirts that were in that audience?
A few out there.
There's a load. They must have been doing some giveaway out in the fan zone on the mezzanine. Or something.
Yeah, a friend of the show, Brad Pitfield, was in there tonight. I don't know whether he managed to get his hand on one, but he did, I think, have himself a leg of darts against Joe Cullen beforehand on his little free doing the old VIP section. So
I was going to say, have they, after the way they treat Joe Cullen, having come so close to it and then not inviting him back to the Premier League, have they actually got him doing VIPs?
Been wheeling him around. I don't know whether it was I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether it was a slightly different VIP event that also had tickets along with the darts or not. But I will ask him the question maybe tomorrow, because I doubt he's in any state to speak at this point, knowing his penchant for a beverage or two. Hello in the chat room. We'll throw a few of those out. Chelsea's in before I fall asleep. You're not falling asleep while our show's on.
Not before me.
As well, he's wide awake now. He got all excited when there were three of
us. But I'll call this out at some point. You know.
Yeah, it's utter shite in it.
Born in Berkshire, lives in Crewe, homecoming in Leeds.
Yeah. Gordon, Alistair in there as well. We've got a few there. FDI TV's in, and Jonathan in as well. Yeah, utter shite in it. We're not having that.
I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
It's like me telling you that I follow Botswana football and then just rocking up in the Okavango and saying, "Yeah, I'm back home." It's nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah, him having a homecoming in Leeds is like Jarlath having one in Ireland. It's just
exactly. Well, yeah, that would have been a better reference than me dropping in the Okavango early on in the. That was not on anyone's bingo cards. That was it.
Absolutely not. No, not on mine tonight.
No.
Right. Let's get into the darts and let's start with Carwyn Evans. Now that he's here, there's only one place to start on this one. 6-5 win for Gerwen Price in the first game. Not vintage, but a good watch.
Yeah, it was a game that I don't think either player wanted to win, as in Cross do nothing like he can to win the game. And then Price thought, nah, I don't want to get the 2 points that probably gets me to finals night. I want to make stress myself out.
Not probably now. After the way the results went, officially qualified.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a very good watch, but maybe not for the huge averages we've seen, but more because it was a case of who'll sort of creep over the line when it got to the decider and
past the winning post.
Yeah, and it was Price in his home coloured kit for the evening. That
I'll be honest, I preferred his to Humphries. I thought his looked quite good with his.
I'll give you that. I agree with that one. I think it was less garish, wasn't it? It was a bit. It was.
The Humphries one was better than the one last year, I'd say, but it still wasn't great. And if he is this big Leeds homeboy that he pretends to be, why is he not just wear that all the time?
Because it doesn't suit the cool hand.
No.
Coolness that's on his.
Neither does the strange, like,
cool things are blue.
Painting that's on his normal one.
Cool things are blue. Blue is a cool.
Yeah, so yeah. Cool and yellow don't really go together.
Well, anyway, I thought prices looked good, and like I say, it didn't look for a long way that he was going to win this until he chucked in a very good leg in the 10th leg with Rob Cross. I think as far back as I've seen anyone at any point in this Premier League, because he's still in about 320 that he had on the board when Price took out 81, I think it was. That's not really in that leg. And when you throwing against throw, but the opportunity to win the match in that leg, not really what you want. And then not a great leg in the final leg either, on throw.
I worry for him, I worry for him at the minute. I think it has been. I was really confident for Rob Cross coming into the Premier League at the beginning, and I know we're towards the end of it now, but I was really confident, and I thought he was. I'm sure if we unpick and go back over the footage, I'll have picked him to be in the top 4. Because when the Premier League started and in the run up to it, I was very confident we were going to see a really good season. But I think he's really underwhelmed. Whereas the other Bunting and Dobby have in different ways looked very good and got beat.
Yeah,
and Rob Cross hasn't.
Looked good in moments, but then when he's got beat, he's looked bad.
Yeah, and with 300 grand to defend this year on his ranking, I think he's got problems. I think he
could start to tumble.
Yeah, I think
looks a bit deflated, doesn't he? Sort of like
exactly 100%. It doesn't look. I think there was the elements that like last year before last, where he looked very free on the hockey. He looked very, but
as well as the start of this year, almost he didn't look. He looked in that same sort of way. He looked like
tuned in though.
He fancied it.
Yeah, like tuned in and comfortable, but not just comfortable, but confident. Like he was taking out big combination finishes, and he was doing the things that we're used to seeing Rob Cross do. But I think that's missing at the minute. There's something missing. There's something missing.
Still was in with a chance of qualifying going into tonight.
Yeah,
and he still doesn't look up for it. Almost like it feels that way at least, and I'm sure he is up for it. I'm sure we're probably, I don't know, maybe doing him a little disservice.
No, but there's something missing, isn't there? I think
there isn't that edge. There isn't that because he really found his scoring a couple of months ago, and that's gone, completely disappeared.
There's something missing, and like I say, if you can't find what there is in this format where you are competing with the best in the world, and you're out there every week, and I worry about him going and defending 300 grand this year.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, because he's lost that killer instinct or killer edge when he's sort of got a two data sort of in the 2 to 3 data 80 to 120
you just scoring range where you sort of at times.
Yeah, no. Where in the past
he might not take
96. Yeah, with a 96, you sort of think he used to be treble 20. You take a break, he hit the double 18, and you sort of backed him to do it. Now it's a question whether he hits the treble 20, but then he takes that pause before shooting for the double. But I don't fancy him to hit it at the moment. And
no, it's almost like when he's playing well, that pause is the best thing in the world for him. When he's not playing well, it's the worst thing in the world, and it makes it worse, I think. And he is struggling a little bit. He is now mathematically unable to qualify. No, he's not. He is still.
No, he's not.
No, we've got 2 weeks left. I got confused. We've got 2 weeks left.
He could win both nights.
He won't. But
I mean,
yeah, I stand by it. He mathematically can't qualify because he won't get any points next week. I've not even looked who he's playing yet. He's not no points next week. And we've moved on.
Correct.
Tell you what, we're going to the game.
The most correct thing you'll say all night, that him not getting points next week.
Absolutely. Has he got Dobby?
Yep.
There we go. It had to be. Yeah, he's probably still in it. On to this game. This game, if Nathan Aspinall does not beat out Michael Van Gerwen for that 4th spot, which is the only spot now available, he's going to be kicking himself about this one, isn't he? Because this one was the one where he should have done it.
Yeah, if it doesn't happen for him, he'll forget the other 16 opportunities that he had to pick points up and where it went wrong, and he'll point at this one and say...
And he's lost to Littler a lot of times this season in this Premier League, but this is one where he really should have won this game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep, it's the same old story, though. Same old story. He does not think he beats Luke Littler, and eventually he gives him a chance, and Luke Littler punishes him. And I think this is where Aspinall, and Bunting especially, and Cross to a degree, I think, they need to snap out of this mindset that they've lost to Littler before a dart is thrown. Because was it 9 darts Aspinall missed tonight? Or something?
Yeah, 4 apiece. He missed 4 or 5 in leg 9, and then 4 or 5 again in leg 10.
Anybody else in this Premier League? Anybody else in this Premier League? He hits those 2 doubles to win those 2 legs. I genuinely think it's Luke Littler lives rent free in his head, and that is sort of the biggest hurdle he needs to overcome if he wants to seriously mix it with the big boys, is believe that he can beat Littler on a regular basis.
It's just, I feel like it's become that thing for him now. Like, it's happened so many times in a row. I've lost count. I've stopped trying to add it up. It's been that many in a row now. And I'm almost slightly on the fence as to whether it's in his head that he can't do it, or doesn't believe he's going to do it, or that he's just trying too hard to, because he's playing well enough to. And surely that belief's there from how well he's played against him the last couple of times. I think last time he should really beat him. Had a massive opportunity as well. But when it comes down to it, he just looks to be, he loses that rhythm, and he looks to be trying too hard.
Well, it's so, the rhythm for him at the minute is so far out anyway, and he's so far out of a rhythm that once you start to push and pull that any further, and he starts to think about things a little bit more, or even go the other way, like, and I think you're exactly right. I think he's trying too hard, but then that takes him. I think he's clinging for dear life onto what rhythm he can hold on to. And and it doesn't matter which end of the scale you're at. Anything that takes you out of that rhythm, for a normal player, it takes them slightly outside. He's already so far away from where he wants to be anyway that it can become insurmountable. And I think that's what happened there tonight. We saw him struggle during the game, but we've seen him struggle like that and average 106 and bash people up. But I think you sum it up very well in that I think he was just trying too hard. He was too up for it.
And even, I mean, you could see it in that last leg, like his head had then gone at that point after he missed the doubles in leg 5, and then obviously we saw the big thumbs up to the board as he
Andrew Gilding X.
Yeah, as he watched as I put on Twitter earlier, as he watched the taxi drive past him, as he was trying
I like that. I thought it was a good observation.
Trying to wave it down. The taxi just continued on and just went.
Yeah,
it's either that or it's the other one that we've seen from a few players recently, isn't it?
Correct.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, that one ain't getting him a fine.
No, DRA won't be phoning about
it. He's absolutely safe from a phone call tomorrow on that one.
It's a slightly different hand gesture. A hand gesture, I know he knew exactly what he meant and how he felt about that board at the time.
100%.
But he's managed to do it and keep the appearance fee in his pocket for the night.
It's like the I don't know whether you ever watched it. Did you see the video that the European Tour did before sort of the boys went off, like Tyrrell and people went off to live? And obviously Tyrrell Hatton's the most angry golfer you've ever met. He's like, he's just one of us. He plays golf like a normal person. There's more F's and C's than there are in most sort of club rounds. But this thing of joking that when you're feeling glum, put up your thumb. So rather than having the angry reaction, just doing this to the ball. And that's basically what Nathan did tonight.
Like it. I'm going to start to... I like that phrase. I'm going to start to use that at work.
Oh, I do it. I still do it to this day. Like,
I'm going to be adopting that tomorrow. There are some people going to be sat in some meetings tomorrow getting some very sarcastic thumbs ups from me.
Oh, I will literally, like, I'm dealing with business development managers at work today that don't know the bottom from the halfway down the arm, and just literally come off the phone and just go,
like it.
We're going to make it a thing. Anyway, one man that wasn't feeling glum, but one that probably was and probably needs to put up his thumb at one point as well in this. Luke Humphries in the third quarter-final, defeating Michael van Gerwen. Again, the performance wasn't really there from either of them. It took it a while to get going, but Humphries found that extra gear, and in the end, it was fairly comfortable.
He sort of let him back in, didn't he? And I didn't think he was going to. And it could have got a bit tasty. I wasn't sure whether it had got to him a bit, because he did let Michael back in, and then I think he just sort of screwed his head back on and shut him out.
4 apiece, that was it, wasn't it? And then it sort of, you almost forgot by the end, and I think I did then, that it ended up back at 4 apiece, really, because it didn't really feel like Michael was ever in it.
No, and that's the problem with Michael at the moment. He's winning legs, but he's not in matches, and
he looked like he's really struggling. Like, he looks like he's trying so hard just to throw the dart at the ball. Like, it's literally like every throw is like, it looks like there's so much effort into every throw just to get it there.
Yeah, I don't. It feels like this year that the Premier League has been a burden for a lot of players. It doesn't feel like a lot of them have fully sort of immersed themselves in it. And yeah, I think if MVG, obviously he wants to make playoffs because he believes he can beat anybody else there on the night. But if he doesn't make it, I don't think it's the end of the world for him, because he's nowhere near firing on all cylinders at the moment, and there's bigger fish to fry later on this year than the O2 in the Premier League.
It is. I think it's remarkable to think that, because we've seen some absolute shite from him recently, like really bad. He could be 2 wins away from being the Premier League champion, and it would be a very Michael van Gerwen thing to do to win it, you know.
Well, he's still in pole position for that 4th spot. He's a point ahead of Nathan Aspinall. He's not playing as well as Nathan Aspinall is, but at the end of the day, realistically, them two are going to go into the final week probably against each other, and it might well be win and in.
It'd be a very Michael van Gerwen thing to do to go and win this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to. I'm just saying it will be very typical of where his game is at. And
I don't believe for a second that he's playing well enough to do so. And they also play each other next week as well. Don't I forgot about that. They play each other.
They're back to back, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, all he has to do is go and win those 2 games. He's in. No worries. Done. Sorted. We don't even need to do that. He needs to win one of them.
We're going to hope. I think it'd be nice if we could see well, it doesn't work like that anymore, does it? But they're not going to shuffle the order on the last week, are they? Can't do it in a tournament format.
No.
The thing is, it could be done and dusted next week. Michael wins the night. That's it.
Yeah, it is over with. But
yeah,
I mean, he's routinely shite in the second game, even if he does get through.
Yeah.
Like, even if he plays well in the quarterfinal, he's absolutely bobbins in a semi-final at the moment anyway. So I don't think we need to worry about that. I think they will get the dream scenario of going into the last day with the opportunity for.
Yeah. So yeah. So do I. I believe that, but poor planning.
What's happening?
Right, your turn, Dan Simpson. How did Chris Dobby lose this game? Because I'm convinced that he won it 6-2. I'm glad he didn't, because I needed over 9.5 legs in this game to land the first win of the 14 weeks so far. But we finally got a 4-fold up on the quarterfinals. But yeah, it was dead and buried, and I don't know how he didn't win this game 6-2.
not only was it dead and buried, but there was such a gulf in the way that they were both playing and where both
Bunting had gone completely. It was literally in a shed.
and Bunting and Dobby was playing very well. He was playing like Chris Dobby does when he plays well. You know, he was making sure that when his opponent was finding one treble, he was finding two. And
he was finding a treble first dart more often than not as well. He only had, well, at the point where it was 5-2 and they were in that, what should have been the last leg, he'd had 5 trebleless visits across the
whole match, wasn't it?
Nearly 8 legs at that point.
But it also, the problem has been for Dobby, or one of the problems, it's a challenge now that we have to have more than one, but has been the doubles haven't been there for a lot of this Premier League campaign. But he was 50% tonight. His doubles looked sharp. He looked.
Yeah.
I don't know how he lost. I don't know what. I don't know.
I think it was another case though. Again, with the doubles, I don't know what the doubles state was at the point where he was 5-2 up, but he wasn't really under pressure on any of them.
No, they're a piece of piss when they don't matter, aren't they?
He's unbelievable when they don't matter. And
at 5-2,
even when Stephen Bunting was also on a double, he was missing that many himself that it didn't feel like it mattered.
But at 5-2, I thought it was done. At 5-3, I wasn't concerned at all because I just knew how many legs there was, left, and I thought we'll get one of them. Yeah. At 5-4, when he got broke, I wasn't concerned because I thought, well, the way he's playing, like he can nick the next one off Bunting, or otherwise he'll just
throw in the last one. He's
I wasn't worried even halfway through the deciding leg, and I just didn't. I didn't expect that to happen. I don't know where it came from.
No, I think.
Especially with the 180 in the last, I don't know.
He went 180, 136, didn't he, to leave tops, and then obviously you can't really legislate for Bunting pinging the 1-2-1, going the way that he never goes either. Like he always goes 25 first. Just decided to go the 23, which is absolutely a smart play at that moment, and just finds the bullseye to wrap it up. You can't really legislate for that, like you say. At that point,
entertaining game.
Even then,
yeah, I think it was entertaining. If you're a neutral, then you probably enjoyed it because we saw that. I mean, the finish was lovely. The finish was great, and it made for a bit of drama and a bit of a story at the end of the game, especially the way that Dobby set up that tops and forcing Bunting to come and take that out. It was a lovely finish to the game. It's just fucking frustrating, man.
Yeah,
it probably sums both.
A very telling moment there where you said, if you were a neutral, you could just tell the disappointment in your voice at that point was
if
just
you were a neutral,
evident.
I'm sure you fucking loved it.
Yeah,
it probably sums up both the campaigns, though, doesn't it? Really, where Dobby's looked sharp but failed to get over the line, and Bunting being out of games but not playing badly, and just tonight he managed to get back into it. But it's sort of, both of.
I think it was the opposite for Bunting of the rest, other than the last few legs. The rest of it was like the opposite of what he's done because he was crap and his head had gone and he was throwing darts away, which you don't see from him really.
No. No, he's not petulant, is he? He's doesn't normally do that.
And then all of a sudden, he found a little bit of rhythm, and then he looked back to that Bunting that we've seen, even without him winning, where he's still playing well. And like you say, that last leg, he set himself up on 1-2-1, and then Dobby's obviously hit the 180 and then the 136 to leave tops, and you think it's going to happen to him again.
Yeah, didn't though, did it?
It didn't though, did it? And what he does set up is Chris Dobby is not safe from finishing bottom now.
Well, And
I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? Let's be honest.
He's picking up 2 points next week, isn't he, at least? So
that's true, yeah, because he is beating Rob Cross next week, so which will help.
Yeah, and they'll both get their asses handed to them on the last day.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'd expect so anyway, but I suppose it depends how much anyone else can really be arsed. whether there's still that top spot.
Whether they can motivate themselves to come out and.
Well, if top spot's gone, like say that when we're looking at it next week, you've got obviously after next week, if you've got Littler having gone and picked up 2-3 points, or even won the night again, then you know top spot's gone. Humphries has got nothing to play for, neither does Littler. You never know what could happen for the other.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Who knows? But we digress. We go back to
Humphries not safe in second yet, though.
That is true. Although he would be a lot closer to it with Gerwen right had he carried on the way that he started this first semi-final against Luke Littler, where he got off to a flyer and you just thought he's still just got the edge over him and it's just going to carry on.
Ran out of steam. Just ran out of steam. And Littler, as he does, once he gets his sort of grip onto somebody, sort of slowly finds a way back into a game and then just chokes you and runs away with it. And once he got his nose in front here, Price just didn't have the answer really to anything.
Yeah, Price started very fast, didn't he? And it looked like, we've seen it a lot of times. We've seen him get the better of him, haven't we? And at 2-0, I thought, oh, here we go. And I was very confident. I thought he was going to win it. And then they just trended.
For the 1-8 for 3-1, I think, was where this game really turned. I just think overall they both. There was a point. There was like a break-even point where they both just trended in different directions. And Luke. Gezi started really fast and gradually deteriorated. Luke started a bit slow and gradually grew into the game. And there was sort of a point in the game where they crossed over, and that's just where it swung. And there was only ever going to be one outcome. Once you passed that point, Gezi just couldn't maintain that level. And Luke was just Luke. He got his foot down and played very well. Yeah, he did. He was excellent from that point onwards, and yeah, once he went in front at 3-2, I know Price level with the 120, but he just felt like from that point that was it.
And that 120 was a steal as well, really, wasn't it? It wasn't.
Yeah, it was, and it was a racking deflection for him as well because he's not sure it was going in if it didn't hit that flight.
By that point, Gezi was doing. By that point in the game, Gezi was doing individual things. He was having good visits at that point in the game. Whereas early in the game, Gezi was playing very well. And then, like I said, once that sort of crossed over and Luke had hit that level, Gezi was just having good visits. So he pulled bits off, but Luke was just playing so much better than him at that point. And it was too bitty and he couldn't quite string it together, Gezi Price. And like I say, look, it was a bit of it. It's funny in it because you end up thinking, well, averaging 104, 55% on his doubles, and he was all right, played okay.
It was a lot better than sort of maybe it felt. Maybe it was just the start that was the reason. Anthony mentioned that Luke knows Gezi's won him now. He has won 2 in a row against him now, and it is starting. Is he now Gezi gonna be the same as everyone else at this point?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's only human. He could only hang on to that for so long, couldn't he? But it was a top performance. I think we can talk about Gezi run out of steam, but realistically, Cowan got it right. He saw an opportunity, Luke, and he got all of it and choked the life out of his opponent.
That's the thing. It's just relentless with it. Luke Humphries, Stephen Bunting in the second semi-final. I don't really know what to say about this game. I've sort of forgotten it already. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was having to it was a forgettable match, and I know that this tournament can be accused sometimes of having forgettable matches, but sort of for every reason a match can be forgettable. It started off it started off a bit boring because the first 7 legs were on throw, so there was nothing really too much happening, and
there were
then
no sort of massive finishes. There was no
it was
scoring. It was
it went through
solid
the motions.
darts from the pair of them.
Yeah, it just went. It was sort of bog standard, wasn't it? Like it was bog standard for these two. Don't get me wrong. Like I'd kill a man and his wife to be able to throw darts like that. But the neither of them could quite hit the level they wanted to. They were sort of going through the motions, and then sometimes where you see that pattern where all of a sudden you see exchanges of breaks of throw, it's normally because the level's increased. And I'm convinced it went the other way here. It was like that they took turns to drop off a bit further, and it just meant that they were managed to grab legs on against the throw. It was a funny old game.
It was a very strange one. I think we'll move quite swiftly on from it, to be honest, with that being the case. We're not getting involved in that debate, Malachy, but it is Spurs, and if you say anything else, you're getting kicked out. The final, and
is there a way if there's a way they can both lose, that would be ideal.
No, I'm all right with Spurs. I don't mind Spurs. I like Ange. I think he's all right. It just seems like a good bloke.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Right.
And to be honest, it's a fair chance that if it was Hitler's Germany up against United, that I'd say the same.
Fair point.
But I do genuinely like Ange. On to the final. We will not be saying the same here as what we said about that semi-final with Luke.
No.
This was bloody fantastic. And the stats are almost identical from the pair of them, which just makes for a cracking 6-5 all the way to the decider. 5 180s each, 5 140 plus scores each, 96 checkout each, and they were within a very small amount on the doubles percentage between them as well. This was just
it's a case of
fantastic.
Anything you can do, I can do better, and it's sort of it was a real back and forth. Both of them put on a good show. I thought, as in there's a reason they're 1 and 2 in the world, defending world champion, former world champion, and a lot of respect for each other, but sort of they didn't let that respect affect their performance. That they knew if they wanted to beat the other, they had to bring their best game. And I can't believe, was it like 8 legs in, they'd only been played 10 minutes or something stupid like that. They just got on with it, and no nonsense and nothing, and just
we had really that was longer than that last night in our match.
It was played at a gorgeous pace, wasn't it? I think it's people often I defend a lot of the Premier League and its existence and format, but I think people point the finger a lot and say they're sick of seeing the same players say the same play, and I call bullshit on it. Yeah, because if you didn't enjoy,
it's the same as looking at that semi-final between Inter Milan and Barcelona.
Yeah,
over 2 legs, and saying if you stuck them on a football pitch together every week for the next 8 weeks, would you not want to watch that over and over?
Then this is the point. Like, if you don't enjoy watching that, if you're not able to sit in a chair and watch Luke Littler play Luke Humphries in a game like that, then you're not a darts fan. No, I'm terrible to break the news to you, but you don't really like darts.
No, you just stuck there because the snooker finished the other day.
Yeah,
I was going to say, find something else to do on a Thursday night if you don't want to sit through that.
Yeah, because top stuff, like very entertaining. Again, with this one, I talked earlier about games that I thought, that we knew exactly what was going to happen. I was wholly unconvinced who was going to win this match from the first leg until the last. At no point was I willing to commit anything other than, it's 50-50 from here. No matter who was on throw, no matter who
was throwing for the winning double, I was still not convinced who was going to win.
100%. Yeah. No, I think it kept, but games like that played at this level, they keep your interest. They keep you dialed in while you're watching it. I thought it was a great game, great final, played in a good spirit, at a good pace, very watchable. Nice end to the night.
Yeah. Exactly what we all wanted. We do not have a clip yet from the winner, which means that
That's because he's peddling to Middlesbrough.
That is because the hardest working man in darts is probably still just working hard. We might get it before the end. If we get it, then absolutely we will play it before the end of the show. If not, you will see it in full on the channel after we are done. You'll be able to go and see that on there. But we will move straight on to...
I think he's on a homecoming tour after his win. I think they were taking him around Leeds on an open bus tour after winning tonight, I think.
Phil Bars?
No, Luke Humphries. That's why there's a delay with the interview. He's not back from his tour yet.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi on the open top bus is not so good. I've heard.
Dreadful, isn't it? Absolutely dreadful.
Yeah. So yeah, we will get straight into next week, and it is at the wonderful P&J Live Arena in Aberdeen. And I think it was Gordon said in the chat that he's off there because it's 15 minutes from home. So
good on him.
Enjoy it. That will be a wonderful little event for you. What's Bars doing going to Middlesbrough?
He's in Newcastle tomorrow night for an exhibition. And
what without Glenn Durham for an exhibition in the Northeast?
I don't know if Glenn's playing the exhibition.
I know he's not, because he's doing our darts end of season presentation tomorrow night in Southampton.
Is he really? Oh well, he might be busy during the day.
I'm very confused because I don't know why you don't know his schedule.
I don't. I might find out at breakfast tomorrow.
I thought you were his driver. I thought you took him around to these events.
I might find out. I might find out at breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, so that is where Glenn is tomorrow. So he's not at that event. Which so
what is a P&J, by the way? What's a P&J live?
I think we did this last year. I think we tried to find out what it was last year.
What on earth a P&J was?
Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna.
Is peanut butter one word out of curiosity?
No,
I thought there was a B.
It's like the English version of a PB&J.
I thought there was a B missing from it, but I can't find out.
P&J. Let's have a look.
Press and Journal, I think, is it?
Press and Journal, the local paper. All right, thank you. Thank you, folks in the chat room. There we go.
Right, okay, we are.
So like, do you know?
I'm a fan of this, but that's like the MEN and the Echo. And
it's a heart back to the days of yore when the local paper would sponsor the arena.
Old school.
Yeah, all right, I'll stick with that.
I want to go even more now.
Yeah, I like the P&J now. That's good. That's a great idea.
Anyway,
more of that. Right.
On to next week then. Predicting wine at the ready. I've got mine. Dan Simpson seems to be slightly unwell. I'm not sure whether he's got some wine or not.
I am unwell. I'm not very well at all. I'm tired and poorly. I'm on a vitamin hit today. I'm taking vitamin.
I had one of them earlier actually. So if this is your chance in the chat room to get involved as well, tell us what you think is going to happen as well. If you're trying to and you can't, it's because you've not clicked subscribe. So you do need to do that. We are a bit militant in that way. We will not let you in unless your name is down on the list. But yeah, so if you can't do it and you want to get involved, click subscribe. Also click like, because that just means more people get to see us and then they click subscribe. And just, I don't understand why you wouldn't.
Hit the Aspinall thumb to like.
Yeah. Click the Aspinall thumbs up.
Actually, that works really well, because even if you don't like what we're doing and you're feeling glum, you can still put up your thumb, and then that gets us even more likes.
Quite.
There we are.
Fantastic. Anyway, speaking of Nathan Aspinall, that's a lovely little segue there, Carwin. He starts us off in a very, very big game at the start of next week against Michael van Gerwen. I'll come to you first, Carwin. Which way are we going?
I think the result of this game means the drama rolls on to the last night. I think the Asp wins next.
I knew I liked you for a reason.
Next Thursday, and just to keep this out, it's a shame that this game's on first, really, because if this result goes the wrong way, it could be a bit of a dampener for the rest of it. But Asp to win 6-4 and keep the excitement going.
I'm happy with that. Dan Simpson, do you agree, or are you going the other way?
I'm going to predict a clean sweep here because I am going Nathan Aspinall wins, but only just 6-5.
It's always smart if you're predicting an Nathan Aspinall win to predict a 6-5. It's never be far
the
wrong.
statistics of history are with you, aren't they? Like, the law of averages are there.
But I'm not going to. And it might just be blind faith. But I think that Michael Van Gerwen's not playing well enough at the moment to get 5 legs off Nathan Aspinall. And I think it's 6-3. I just think he turns up, shows up, and gets himself.
Well, at least we've got some variety between us, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah.
And in the chat room, we've got a lot of people that are wrong.
All of the good folks in the chat room think, oh, God, they're all wrong, aren't they?
Maliki's got it 6-5 for MVG. Alistair at least has put Sadly in there because he's a nice enough bloke. Great Showman's a smart man. James is an idiot. just abusing people in the chat room now for the wrong sort. Scott,
get that off the screen.
None of that. I didn't mean
get that off.
I didn't mean to put that up. What a prediction!
Splinters on his ass.
Yeah, that's it. Put a prediction up. Otherwise,
sitting on the fence.
Game 2 next week is where I realise I've gone wrong by going to Carwin first, but I'm going to stick with it. Dan Simpson, you get to go first on this one. Gerwen Price against Stephen Bunting. Which way are you going?
Because Price let me down today. I predicted him to win the night. But he won't let me down in the opening game next week. He'll win 6-3.
As a man that wants bottom spot wrapped up quickly. How about you, Carwin? Are you? How many does Gerwen Price win by? I've stopped even asking you.
Well,
at this point in the 14 weeks, I don't ask you whether he's going to win anymore. I just ask you how many by.
No, the thing is, I think what keeps him motivated is the fact that second spot isn't out of his grasp yet. Had that been out, I may have struggled to see him win. But because he's got something to fight for.
That'd be second spot that means that he still plays Luke Humphries regardless.
But he's playing out with the home changing room then. Mentality. Psychologically.
Big one like that.
Yeah.
Big one.
Right, come from the left, not the right then.
While you're thinking on this, Daly's gone in there and said 6 on MVG just to troll me. All that does is just increase my respect for you, Daly, because I love a shit house.
I think Price goes to sleep for a bit in games, so I think Bunting gets a few legs. 6-3 Price.
6-3 Price for you. We've got another clean sweep because I don't see Stephen Bunting winning this either. I think he'll play well again, but I do think that Gezi, at least for the first game next week, will show up and play well. And he takes it 6-4 for me, slightly tighter for me. I don't think we'll have many people disagreeing with us this time round. Gordon's got it 6-3 Price, as has Malachi. Scott's got off the fence. Clearly, those splinters were hurting too much. He's got it 6-4 Gezi. James got it 6-2 for Price. Greta Shaw's got it 6-2, as has Alistair as well. That is a lot of people all
a clean sweep.
Basically, lump the life out of Stephen Bunting next week.
Yeah, Patrick's coming late with a contrarian opinion.
There it is. All right. Well, we're back in Price then. Greta Shaw's laughing. Yeah, Patrick, there you go. 6-4 for Bunting. He's the one that he wants to be the one that, like I did once, and we'll keep going.
He's doing the Bob roll, isn't he? Bob likes to be the contrarian.
Yeah.
But I did it with the Johnny Clayton to beat Littler in the. Was that the? I can't remember when it was. That was the Masters, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
was the only one, and then I've not let anyone forget it since. Right, seeing as I've completely cocked up which order we're going in, Colin Evans, you get to go first on Chris Dobby against Rob Cross. Which way are you going?
This is a tough one because both players need a win for different reasons. And I think I'm more convinced by Dobby than Cross at the moment. So I think Dobby gets the win.
That is some statement about Rob Cross's doubling at the moment, I've got to say.
Being the local lad, you'll have the crowd on his side as well.
Yes, because Newcastle is in Scotland, as we know.
Sorry?
It's north.
Yeah, because Newcastle is in
the
Scotland, as we know.
Closest one to the venue, I presume. I don't think there's
I think he might be closer to Holland. Could be Michael van Gerwen might be the closest to Aberdeen.
Good point. Didn't think of that. Forgot we had Europeans contingency in the Premier League as well. Anyway, I think Dobby wins 6-5.
Dan Simpson, who wins? Why is it Chris Dobby, and how many is it by?
Rob Cross will win.
No, you can't go back on yourself now.
Rob Cross will win 2 legs, and Chris Dobby will win 6.
There we go. Teased us a little bit there, but it was never going to happen. I'm liking the upset here. I don't like to be an antagonising prick, basically.
Is it? I wonder if the bookies have it as an upset.
I can tell you right now. With the sponsors, BetMGM, who, if you go to the Premier League, is generally a good place to go. There's some good offers on there as well. Cannot split them.
Really?
Yeah. Both of them
5, 6,
9 to 10 on.
Oh, fair enough. Nearly there.
Yeah. If you shop around, you get similar sort of prices. Somehow Bet UK have got it slightly. They're both still the same price, but got it slightly longer at 7 to 8. But even though they're the same company, doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, stick with the sponsors. Plenty of good offers on for the Premier League, and you also do get, if they go 3 legs up, Bet pays out early, which is always nice.
It certainly is.
And that's where my money goes. Rob Cross goes 3-0 up and carries on to win 6-4. Dobby fights back, but you get the early payout as well. Rob Cross still wins it just for the fun of it, but yeah, 6-4 Rob Cross. In the chat room, Great Showman's got it 6-4 for Dobby, as is Malachi. Gordon's got it 6-5 Cross. Everyone's got it pretty close this. So it doesn't feel like one that's wide, other than if you're Dan Simpson. Alistair 6-4 for Cross. James got it 6-4 Dobby, 6-5 Cross for Scott. And I think that is everyone on there. Camfish and sponsorship. I'll have any sponsorship. Honestly, do not care. Whatever brand you wants to sponsor me, I have no morals whatsoever.
No. Ditto.
As always, though, gamble responsibly. Do not bet more than you can afford. And when the fun stops, stop. Right. Final. Quarterfinal. Rematch of tonight's final. Who are we up to? You first. It's you first. Yeah. Luke Littler takes on Luke Humphries. Repeat or revenge?
Repeat. Same score.
Please be. I'm all for that. Even if it goes to the score, I still want 11 legs of it.
Yeah, 6-5. I think I'm going to go 6-5 Humphries. I know that Luke just loves to win darts matches, but it is difficult. It has to be difficult to motivate yourself in the circumstances he's in, where he's pissed it. And when you've got an opening game, it must be even harder to motivate yourself. So, and that for that reason, 6-5, but Humphries again.
Yep. Carwin, for you, repeat or revenge?
Revenge,
Revenge.
Reverse scoreline. So 6-5 Littler.
Oh, we're in for a good game either way, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want it to live up to it. And I want to believe that it lives up to it. But I don't think it does. I think Humphries wins 6-3. I don't think it gets that close. I think he plays well, despite what I think it's great as Sean said earlier that it's windy up there. Still going to go for a Luke Humphries win and a relatively comfortable one. In the chat room, Gordon says, detailed prediction. Littler wins 6-4, and he gets to see Luke the Nuke hit a 9-darter and get absolutely shit-faced afterwards because he's got Friday off. Does that mean that Luke's going to hit a 9-darter and get shit-faced afterwards, or is Gordon
I'm not sure who's getting shit-faced in that scenario.
No, neither am I.
As long as somebody is, I don't mind. As long as
I'm not sure Gordon having Friday off is going to help Littler if he's shit-faced, but it's what it is. We do like a detailed prediction on here, though, and we would look. I mean, it's the only thing it didn't have tonight in that game between them was that 9-darter. So yeah, if we get that as well next week, all for that. 6-4 Littler for Daly, 6-5 Littler for Greatest Showman. Patrick got it 6-4 Humphries, 6-5 Nuke for Alistair. Humphries 6-5 for Malachi. He's got it the same as you, Mr. Simpson. And Littler 6-5 for James. He's got the same as you, Carwin. Gordon's confirmed it is him that's going to be shit-faced. I mean, Luke is old enough now. He's more than welcome to go and get shit-faced if he wants to. If you get shit-faced together,
players don't drink, though.
Dark players don't drink, Cam.
Dark players don't drink, though.
Not at all. Not even afterwards. Surely they have like a celebratory.
No, do you not remember when we were at Minehead and we saw them all doing? They were making like ginger and turmeric shots. Do you remember? Just wellness.
I thought they were all just back in the apartments, just having a early
straight
night.
To bed.
Yeah.
Wellness.
Episode of Midsummer Murders on ITV4. Other channels are available.
Face mask, foot peel, all the other bits and bobs.
Yeah, I think that's it was that you are right. I was completely because we
pedicure
end up there this year. I've completely forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Right. Who did we all pick? And from them, who are your finalists and who wins the night?
Well, I've already said that. He let me down once. Well, he let me down tonight. And I'm going to have another go at it. So,
wellness my hole from Greatest Showman. Whatever you want to do for your preparation, you do it, mate. I'm going to say, we don't judge on here.
You normally have to pay extra for that where I'm from. Gezi Price beats Luke Humphries.
Gezi Price beats Luke Humphries for Dan Simpson. Carwin Evans, which way are you going?
Gezi Price beats Luke Littler.
Well, Nathan Aspinall beats Rob Cross.
Oh.
Which doesn't make it quite as exciting for the week after, but it does still leave it wide open because he'll only be 4 points clear of MVG.
Which means it can't be done in their game. Well, it could be that one way, but
it could be. But if it still leaves it open enough that they can.
Yeah, we could have. I want that camera. Like if anyone's boring like me, and what the Giro d'Italia started today. But if you like cycling, when they do a time trial, whoever's in the lead has to sit in a chair with cameras on them so we can film their reaction. Like what I want is
stick Nathan Aspinall in that seat.
Picture in picture, like a little box with him in, just with cameras on him while
as Michael Van Gerwen's playing
while Michael plays the final. Yeah, that's what I want. Give me that content.
That would be wonderful. It might break the myth of darts players don't drink. Sorry, not myth. No, it's not a myth, is it? Sorry, got that wrong.
It's facts.
Yeah.
They drink health drinks and smoothies.
Correct. And wellness, they're assholes.
Yeah.
And on that note, we've forgotten to look at anyone else's predictions in the chat room. Has anyone actually put any in? Gordon's got Littler beating Gezi 6-4. He'll do well to do that if he's shit-faced. Malachi's got Humphries beating Price 6-5. Littler beats Price 6-3 for Alistair. And I think that's it. Anyone else?
The ramblings of a madman.
There's a few of them, and there's been a few of them on here tonight. But I think that's us all done. We haven't got the clip, so Phil Bars is going to lose his title as the hardest working man in darts at this rate.
The interview might still be going on.
It could well be. It's just, you might be right. The ramblings of a madman might be happening right now.
Could be the most detailed interview you ever see.
Oh, late comer. James Scott Price beating Dobby 6-4.
I'll take that, you know.
You'd be happy with that.
I'll be very happy with that.
Apologies, James. I did miss that. Apparently, you put it in already. You had put that in already, so I do say that back. There were a lot of nonsense going on at that point in the chat room. Phil's booking the hotel for Bill, but he might well be. That could be what's happening, to be honest. But yeah, that's us all done. So I don't know who will see you next week. It could be all of us. It could be one of us. It could be two of us.
Who knows at the minute?
He won't be none of us because Carwin will be. He's always here. He never leaves.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he ever leaves the back end of this system. I think he's just always there.
It exists in
that's why I forgot I had a microphone issue. So I just sat there as usual, and then I've got a microphone. Panic.
Just rambling away to himself, just looking at the Fallout Bar graphics, waiting for someone else.
Philosophical insights, and nobody could hear them.
Well, we will be back next week after we go to the local paper named P&J Live Arena in
Solid
Aberdeen.
name. Love that.
Really good name. We're a big fan of it. So you might see all three of us back just to talk about the arena as much as anything else. But that was the Fallout Bar after night 14 of the BetMGM Premier League darts. From Leeds tonight, the local boy was your winner. The interview will be in full on the channel when Phil Bars gets round to it. And we will see you all very soon. Good night.